the last What's Wrong With video, just catch you up to speed. We at dorkjuice.com like to tell you what we hate about the shit we love. That could be movies, it could be video games, it could be music, it could be comic books, it could be whatever strikes our fancy. So the first episode we did Evil Dead, the remake. Suggest to check that out. This episode we are doing Injustice Gods Among Us, a video game. So we are mixing things up because that's what we do, motherfuckers. Here we go. Injustice Gods Among Us is a new fighting game made by the same people who made the last Mortal Kombat, which is good because the last Mortal Kombat was fucking awesome. This one, however, did not take place in the Mortal Kombat universe. This one we're doing the DC universe. You got your Superman, your Batman, all the villains are in there too, your Joker and your Catwoman, and I guess there's some other non-Batman villains, but who gives a fuck about them? So it's a fighting game. I'll start by saying that. As with any fighting game, the biggest weak point of this particular title is the storyline of the game. I know it's a little nitpicky to talk about the storyline because nobody buys it for the fucking storyline except for maybe like a 12-year-old me. But I mean, for some people the storyline's important and it's probably going to be the first thing most people play. So let's dig into it. It was by far my least favorite part of this game. Let's get it out of the way right here at the beginning. So the basic storyline is the Joker is in possession of a nuclear bomb. He's going to set it off in Metropolis, thus killing millions of people. All of the DC superheroes are on their way to stop him and they succeed. However, when they succeed, a few of them reported to an alternate dimension where they did not succeed. The Joker blew up the bomb, thus killing millions of people, chief among them in the alternate universe, Lois Lane and Superman's child. So the whole storyline, you've got sort of two stories going on. One doesn't really play that big a role. It's like the real world storyline, and then the alternate universe storyline is the one where most of the game happens. So my first bitchy thing about this is alternate universes. That's so original. Where did they come up in a DC game? Where did they come up with the idea for alternate universes? Genius. My second bitch is Superman. In this alternate universe, Superman is not only not Superman-ish, he is the anti-Superman. He is turned into a complete fucking Nazi. He indiscriminately kills people and superheroes. He is like the most evil of evil people in the entire fucking game, and that's including the Joker who started all of this mess. So my first bitch is that if all you have to do is kill Superman's unborn child and Lois Lane to get him to completely lose his shit and become the biggest supervillain in his entire universe, that's a problem. I mean, call me crazy, but I just thought after all these years that the constitution of Superman was a lot stronger than just killing Lois Lane and his unborn child. I don't know, I thought he was a strong superhero. So as you progress through the storyline, you're going to meet all your old favorites. You're going to meet Batman, you're going to meet Joker, you're going to meet Catwoman, you're going to meet Bane is in there. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in there as Nightwing. Is it a spoiler to say that, you know, something that everybody knows because it's completely obvious? Joseph Gordon-Levitt is not going to be Robin in the next Batman 4 or whatever the fuck they're going to call it. He's not. He's going to be Nightwing or Batman. I don't know why the fuck they named him Robin. It makes no goddamn sense. I think, is this a spoiler? So as you play through the story mode, you fight amongst people. I think like each hero or villain you get to fight with like 3 times or something like that. And in between those fights, occasionally there is this weird button mashing thing where something completely arbitrary is happening in the storyline and you have to press buttons in the correct sequence to get it to do something. The only time in my mind that this was done successfully, that I thoroughly enjoyed it, was in Mortal Kombat 1 with Test Your Might. The fucking wood, the fucking diamonds, the fucking rubies. My favorite part of the game. I know that's not saying, you know, that's probably not fucking cool to say in the nerdverse. I loved Test Your Might. Loved it, because that was what I played the shit out of on the Genesis. Now when I was at the skating rink, we're getting a little sidetracked here, but when I was at the skating rink playing Mortal Kombat on the fucking arcade, Test Your Might was, I didn't care. I wanted to, you know, fucking kill people. But when I was at home on the Genesis, fucking, My last real beef with the story mode is that toward the end, you know, you gotta fight like 3 or 4 times with each character. So toward the end especially, it felt really forced, like they were forcing the storyline to get certain characters to fight each other. There were 1 or 2 times where I had no idea why the fuck they were fighting, and I was paying attention. I wasn't fucking, you know, getting drunk playing this game. I was into it, and I still completely missed why these 2 characters were fighting. Overall, the story mode in this game fucking sucks. I mean, it sucks, but every fighting game story mode sucks. So let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about is training. I feel like training is something that isn't discussed as much as it should be in fighting games. and this game fucking overkill. So you start out the story mode with a training session that you can either skip or do. If you do it all the way to the end, you get like an achievement or something stupid. And that training's pretty adequate to get you through the entire story mode. You don't need to do much past that. Now to really hold your own though in like multiplayer or something like that, you're going to do something called Star Labs. Now Star Labs is a series of like 7 to 8 missions or something like that where you play as a certain character for these 7 to 8 missions, and you are ranked with 1, 2, 3 stars. 1 to beat it, and then the extra 2 are like special hardcore shit. So my problem with this is there are so many. And they sequentially unlock. They unlock with stars, and you have to do them in order. So you start like Superman. Let's say your favorite character to play is Aquaman. You're going to have to go through a long time getting stars before you're going to be able to train as Aquaman, the dude you want to train as. Now that's not to say that you can't go in and just do like a free fight thing, you know, in the training mode of the game, but if you want to train and have some semblance of storyline, have something to do besides fight, if you really want to hone your skills with any certain character, and that character is not at the front end of the Star Labs listing, you're gonna wait a long fucking time. Now we get to the point that we're all waiting for, the multiplayer. How is the multiplayer? And in the multiplayer, we're also gonna talk about mechanics a little bit, because who the fuck gets this game to not play the multiplayer? That's why you're interested in the mechanics. How well is your favorite character going to perform against other characters? Let's talk about it. So the multiplayer in this game is surprisingly diverse. You got a lot of different things you can do. I really enjoyed King of the Hill matches where you know, you got a list of people in a bracket, and one person wins and one person loses, and the person who wins gets to be the king, and the person who loses goes to the bottom of the bracket, and you just keep going up like that. The experience in those matches compounds on top of itself. While we're at it, talking about experience, can I just throw in here that the experience and the leveling system in this game is completely fucking arbitrary? By the time I beat the storyline mode, and went through like an hour and a half or 2 hours of the Star Labs, it's really all you can do before you just want to bomb it. When I actually got to multiplayer for the first time and I jumped in, I was already like a level fucking 40. Let's talk character balance. Probably the most important thing about this game is making sure all the characters are balanced. And I've got sort of bad-ish news. They ain't. I read some other reviews and talked to some other friends of mine who were playing this game, and you know, the reviews all seem to be saying, oh, it's super balanced, but all my friends are like, no. And it could be because my friends are terrible gamers, and it could be that I'm a bad gamer too. But in my opinion, and my friends' opinions, this game is not balanced. There are 2 characters particularly that I want to talk about. If you are going into multiplayer for the first time in Injustice Gods Among Us, play Aquaman. Don't debate my shit. Don't say, oh, I fucking hate Aquaman. Play Aquaman. You know why? Because Aquaman is the best starting character, hands down. I did a King of the Hill match with Aquaman. My first multiplayer experience on this game, King of the Hill. I had a 10-game win streak before I got bored. Now, obviously, you can say that about any sort of character that once you get the flow down, but this was my first time in the multiplayer. You play as Aquaman fairly early on in the story mode. I hadn't trained with him yet because he was deep into the Star Labs, and I fucking kicked ass with him. Kicked ass. All my friends did too. Aquaman OP. Now, that's not to say that once you get into some more technical hardcore shit, your levels start to increase, that you're not going to run into problems with Aquaman. You are. As soon as you run up against a person that knows how to play Deathstroke worth of shit, Aquaman's going to get his ass kicked. But just as a starting character, ridiculously easy, almost stupid easy. And because it was that easy, I gotta say it's a design problem. But Aquaman was not the only character that I had problems with balance-wise. There was also, and this is probably the biggest disappointment because this is one of my favorite villains. I'm not just talking DC villains, I'm talking all time. I fucking love this villain. He got a lot of really nice treatment recently, and then he had some really shitty treatment before that, both of those in movies. I'm talking, of course, about Bane. Bane in this game fucking sucks. He's so big and lumbery, and he just doesn't land shit correctly. It just feels weird playing Bane. And so, like, if you were to fight with Bane and Solomon Grundy, you might have a chance of winning. I don't know, I haven't personally gone into that fight, but if you did, maybe, because they're both sort of big and slow. Even a character who's relatively fast with their combos is gonna take down Bane easily, and that's the problem. It's not just that he's slow, it's that he's so slow that almost anyone in the game can beat him with like 1 or 2 combos memorized. It's that ridiculous. So there you go, we got a character who is ridiculously OP, Aquaman. character is ridiculously... What's the opposite of OP? Is it UP? Up? Fucked up is more like it. You have two characters on both sides of the spectrum there, and that's not to say that those were my only balance issues, gameplay-wise, with Injustice Gods Among Us that I found troublesome, but for the sake of brevity, there you go. Those are my two extremes. If you have any, please do leave them in the comments. Chances are I'm going to back you up wholeheartedly. So there you go. Story's weird. Training is immense. Multiplayer is sort of a mixed bag. Overall, how do you rate a game like Injustice Gods Among Us? What do you say? Should you buy it? Should you buy retail? Here's what I'll say about it. It depends on what you want to get out of the game. If you're going into it looking for an incredible fighting game, get Mortal Kombat. I mean, I'm sorry. Get Mortal Kombat. It's a better fighting game. If you're going into it looking for a great superhero game with all your favorite DC characters, this is probably a good buy. Especially considering that it is a good fighting game. If you're just going into it looking for something to like play with all your friends, I don't know. If I'm going to play a game without blood, I'm probably going to play Smash Brothers. If I'm going to play a game with blood, I'm probably playing Mortal Kombat. Injustice is like right in the middle. There's a little bit of blood, a little bit of gore, but it's not very much. Anyway, I'm rambling, folks. There it is. There's what's wrong with Injustice Gods Among Us. Please do comment on this video. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share the shit out of this video. The more you share, the more that tells us that you like what we're doing. And check back in with dorkjuice.com. Check out this YouTube channel. You can find us on all the social media channels in the world. All of them, Kevin. That was sort of a Home Alone 2 reference in this video. Home Alone 2 reference. Boom! I've been Joel from dorkjuice.com. See you next time.